Hello, Seekers. Thank you for joining me for a special episode. Today, I'm going to be bringing you an overview of the recently released Cepheus Universal, which is the universal science fiction role-playing game, as it says on the cover. And this is not going to be a dedicated deep dive of Cepheus Universal. It's going to be an overview from the perspective of someone who plays solo RPGs and someone who plays solo RPGs specifically in the hostile setting. Obviously, the hostile solo attracted me, being that it is dedicated to solo play, and that's a big part of why I picked it up. And it also turns out that it is a great system that I really enjoy. And so when I discovered that Cepheus is kind of the nuts and bolts behind the hostile setting, I was very curious to check out Cepheus Universal. And in the process of doing that, I learned that it's probably the chonkiest game in the Cepheus lineup, or the chonkiest rulebook. And I do not own any of the previous Cepheus rulebooks, so someone who does own those and has plenty of experience with Cepheus would probably be a better person to give you a real deep dive into this system. But for me, when I learned that this is the most sort of robust and maybe crunchy, I guess you could say, version of Cepheus that is available thus far, I was very interested in it. Because generally I like games that have a lot of detail, and what I find is that I rarely have a problem with more detail, because I can always scale the game down and I can always remove things that I don't want. But if you have a game that doesn't have much detail, then good luck getting more detail, because you're going to have to make all that up yourself. So I like being able to sort of scale down a game, but start from a game with a lot of detail. So that's really what attracted me to Cepheus, was seeing what kind of product it is, and that it could greatly expand hostile solo, and it all integrates very easily and very well into the hostile setting. So really what's going to happen for me is that Cepheus Universal is going to take the place of the majority of the rules that I would use out of the hostile setting. So in a sense, Cepheus Universal will now be my rulebook, and hostile will be largely a setting book, and a book that provides some of your basic content, such as items and things of that nature. So I really only very recently started learning the hostile system, and now I'm going to be kind of jumping right out of that and into the Cepheus system. And once again, there's not a huge difference, but certainly Cepheus Universal expands on almost everything that you can find in hostile solo. But to hostile solo's credit, if you would like to have a more streamlined and more simplified system, and sometimes you may need that because maybe you want to teach someone how to play the game, or you want to play the game maybe while you're traveling, or maybe you just simply don't have much time, hostile solo is still going to serve you very well as a rulebook, because it is quite streamlined in comparison, I think, to pretty much anything else in the hostile or maybe even in the Cepheus lineup. So there's still a lot of value in using the rules from hostile solo as well. But as I said, for my purposes, Cepheus Universal is going to be my rulebook of choice when running the hostile setting. So let's get into Cepheus Universal. Let's take a look at a kind of a general overview of what we have in Cepheus Universal, and you can decide if it's something that would appeal to you as a solo player, probably as a player of hostile solo, but maybe you play just solo sci-fi in general, and you're looking for something to give you more options. So let's see what we have in here. All right, so opening up the book, while we're here on the credits page, I want to say a quick word about the art. So when I purchased Cepheus Universal, I was not aware that there is actually some AI art in the game, and that would have been really quite a drawback for me, knowing that coming into it. And I did not specifically reach out to Zoser, but there has been some people have reached out to them, and there has been some feedback and maybe kickback about the AI art. And to Zoser's credit, they have actually decided that they will be replacing those AI art pieces in this book with commissioned art, and the official digital version of the book will be updated with that. So I will still have the AI art in this book, but going forward, all of the art is being replaced with human created art, and I think that's a great move. And typically we don't see authors or companies doing things that's going to affect their bottom line and possibly in a negative way, such as commissioning more art. But that was a great move, and I appreciate Zoser doing that. And also, just a quick word about the book itself. You can see here that this was printed by Lulu, and I am very impressed with the quality of the print and with the binding and the overall feel of the book. So I would not hesitate at all to recommend that you purchase this hardback from Lulu if you desire the physical version. I'm very impressed with the quality of it. Okay, so let's look at the contents of the book. And this is about 450 pages of content here, so it's not a small book. And I'm not going to be going through every single page of the book. There will be some sections that I'll be skipping. I'll probably be skipping a lot of this introduction section and just try to get more into the meat of the game. But let me just read off the different sections that we have for you. So we also have the campaign concepts, which is going to be some suggestions on what kind of campaign you could play. And then we've got everything that we need about characters. We've got a nice section about low-tech characters, which is definitely something that you're not going to see in Hostile, to my knowledge. And then you have also a section about mind powers. And then you have a very detailed section about game system. And then you also have a very detailed section about combat. And you have some information about survival. You have quite a large section on equipment, spacesuits, augments, meditech, computers, robots, vehicles, space travel, space combat, types of ships, and then a very detailed section on spacecraft design, so everything that you would need to design some starships. And then you have capital ships, star systems, and this also includes things about world generation, system generation, and alien life, and also how to create those. And then you got many different kinds of encounters. Looks like about almost 10 pages of encounters. And you've got things about planetary travel, time travel, which is really cool. And then you have all this information about running the game and the setting. And really the way the book is broken up is it's kind of like half of it is all of your rules and your basic components, and then kind of like the other half of the book is all about how to generate worlds and how to play in those worlds and how to generate spacecraft and aliens and animals, and just sort of how to create everything within this giant sandbox. All right, so as I said, I'm going to skip some of these more mundane pages here because we have a huge book to go through here. You've got all your nice terminology here. It's nice to see that. This is one thing that I like a lot, is these technology levels. It's really nice to have all this kind of spelled out for you, everything broken down: primitive, industrial, pre-stellar, and then you have a description of each age and then your technology level. And this is really great when you are doing world creation or even planet creation or even the background of your character. All this provides a lot of flavor and a lot of detail. And I'm pretty excited about having this spelled out for you like this. And I'm pretty sure you're not going to see this in Hostile Solo. I'm not sure about the core Hostile book. There may be some info about that in here. But like if you look at tech level 8, that's going to be your modern day internet, smartphones, integrated network society, possible to reach other worlds in the same star system with rocket technology. Basic robots are available. So tech level 8, that's where we are right now. But you've got all the way up to tech level 18, which is quantum, and it's basically like science magic at that point. All right, and then your campaign suggestions. These are really cool. Some of these are similar to what you're going to see in Hostile Solo, but there are some different ones as well. Agents, colonists, free traders, infantry squads, survey scouts, interstellar naval officers, pirates, rebels, time travelers, post-apocalypse survivors, and salvage team. And I would say like time travelers sounds really exciting. I'd really like to get into that. Maybe pirates as well. And the post-apocalypse also sounds great. So there's so many different opportunities of things to do in there, and of course there's plenty more that you could do in here. And once again, you'll see some of these in Hostile Solo, but definitely there are some different ones as well that the system allows you to do. And then we're going to get into our characters, and character creation is nice in that it has several different ways that you can go about it. You can do a design-based character, which is where you sort of know what you want and you're going to kind of directly pick it, and it has a way for you to do that and make this character that embodies some kind of a hero, and potentially they're more powerful because you've created them how you want them to be designed. And then but you also have very detailed random generation as well, and you can also go through the career cycle and do your different career terms and use that as well to build up your character. So that's also very nice to see. So we've got a lot of detail here. The majority of this is fairly similar to Hostile Solo, but there are definitely some things that are expanded in here. You definitely have a little bit more, I think, choice as far as skills and sort of like classes or professions, if you will. Belter, I believe this is pretty much the same as a roughneck, the Belter. One that sounds really cool to me is Scavenger. I think I would definitely like to try that one at some point. And so then you've got some more details here about how you can use your money and things like that. And then you get into the random creation, which the random creation has a lot of different options, a lot of detail. And you can also play as alien characters. This is really cool. This would definitely give you a lot of different options that you will not see in Hostile Solo here. Playing as like a mystic, for example. Some of these might be lower tech levels as well. You could pretty much create whatever kind of world you want. You could even create a fantasy world where the entire world is like Dungeons and Dragons on the world, but you're playing it in Cepheus Universal. And then you've got your character life path, all this information about your background and everything. Really nice detail here. Tons of tables and things like that to set up a really flavorful background for your character. That all of this is really greatly expanded, I think, from what you're going to see in Hostile Solo. And then they walk you through, how to actually create a character in the character summary. And then you get into, all your different skills that you have. And there's definitely more skills in here than there is in Hostile Solo. Also, actually, this section about gaining experience, this is really nice because for the most part, I believe there's really very little, if any, rules about character progression and building and experience building within Hostile Solo. So this is going to give you a lot more information about how to do that, and even giving you an experience system. And as you know, when playing a game solo, you can't always just say, well, okay, well, at the end of the session, we're going to give out, the GM's going to give out more experience or going to give out something. So having this is really great for a solo player. All right, and then we have all kinds of different options about low tech, and this, once again, this is all stuff that you're not going to see in Hostile Solo, so that gives you a lot more options there. The mind powers, you're definitely not going to see that in Hostile Solo, so this is a whole bunch of different stuff here, and this is actually really cool. Like this actually sounds like a lot of fun to create a character that can do this, or to have battles with other characters that have these powers. This looks really cool. Kind of reminds me of psionic powers in Dark Sun a little bit, so it kind of gets me excited for something that's compatible with that system as well. All right, and then you have all your details about your game system. And a lot of this is fairly similar to Hostile Solo, but what you're going to see is that just a lot of things are just expanded in a little bit more detail, and things are a bit more granular. And so you have a little bit more tables and things like that to to give you more detail about how to do things. And then you have like this stress system. There may be a lighter version of this in Hostile Solo. I don't remember actually, but you definitely have more detail in here. Some of these things I believe are in Hostile Solo, the different atmospheres. But once again, you're going to have things sort of spelled out and explained for you in more detail and more tables in the Cepheus Universal. Pressure loss, that seems like a pretty advanced mechanic there. And all your things about different kinds of survival. Pretty detailed discussion about communication. This is actually really cool. I would like to really kind of delve into that. Movement. It's nice to have some of these things spelled out as well. And building intrusion, cameras. So once again, these are all things that are probably very lightly touched on in Hostile Solo, but in here we just have a lot more detail about everything, more tables. And then once again in combat now, so combat is something that I really enjoy in any kind of role-playing game. So for me, having what would be probably the most chunky combat rules available within Cepheus or the Hostile setting is a great resource. So I'm happy to see this, and it's certainly going to take me time to learn all this and get through it. As you've seen from my second episode with my Hostile Solo play, I still have a lot to learn with combat, but I love having the depth here, and even if it takes me a while to learn it all, that's fine. I just love having it all there available. So yeah, once again, we just have more and more detail. You have some nice descriptions about things. They walk you through different rounds and explain how things go, and a lot more different kinds of sort of unique situations, and once again nice explanations of everything. And so really a very detailed combat section. And once again, you could take from this, or you could also not use some of it if you don't want to. But like I said, I'm never going to turn down having more detail and having the option to use it if I want to. Even low tech roles, very cool to see. Dueling as well. I mean, you can have like sword master fights. I mean, that's just really cool. And then we get into survival. It's got all different kinds of information about equipment and melee weapons. This is definitely something that you're not going to see in Hostile Solo. You have all these melee weapons, and then you've even got like fantasy weapons. And once again, if you wanted to do a time travel scenario where you go back and you're fighting in like Dungeons and Dragons within this game, you can certainly do that. Or you could even do some kind of gonzo fantasy thing where you've got everything going on all at once. It's definitely all there, and the weapons are really broken down a lot, kind of like by tech levels as well, which is really cool because it helps you to build. Like if you say, okay, I'm going to build a tech level 5 world. Well, this is going to tell you exactly, okay, submachine gun and bolt action carbine, those can all go in tech level 5. So it's really nice how it's going to do that for you. So that's definitely some detail that it's nice to have in here. Exotic ammo. Then you get into your higher tech level weapons, your energy weapons, and all your grenades and all that stuff. So there's just a huge amount of equipment. You even have artillery, weapon accessories, vehicle weapons, cannons. And then you get into your medical things, security tools. And if you have a few of the hostile setting books, you'll find that you've got different equipment in different books, and in a sense this actually kind of combines everything. So being able to kind of have like the majority of the equipment kind of like all in one place is really nice, because it can be tough when you're building a character looking through multiple books trying to figure out like, okay, I want the equipment from this book and I want the one from this book, and having just like this massive thing of all equipment kind of together here is really nice when you are building a character. Just being able to kind of have a one-stop shopping for all that. And yep, then you get into spacesuits. So we got everything with that. You can even customize your suits. Very cool. Augments. Doing some kind of cyborg enhancement, cybernetics. Another very cool thing, I mean, if you combine this with, say, like psionic, like mind powers, I mean, you've got just some really crazy, unique opportunities for character designs here. And, you know, also that kind of stuff would also work really well if you wanted to do some kind of a cyberpunk thing or some kind of an alternate future type of thing. All that stuff would work great. You know, you got drugs, so this could give you a foundation for some kind of like underworld, you know, and you know, gang fights and all this kind of stuff. All right, and now computers, obviously a very important thing. We got like a whole page about networks, AI obviously, you know, becoming a very big thing, maybe to show in games. And you even got AI personalities, so a lot of cool detail there. Once again, some nice examples of how to use these things. You know, you got robots, all different things for the robots, and then once again some nice examples. Vehicles, you got many different vehicles, all broken down by your tech levels, so you can build your, you know, your different tech levels for your different worlds. Aircraft builder, so you can actually create what kind of an aircraft that you want. It's going to tell you, you know, how to give the stats for that and what it's going to cost. Grav vehicle builders, watercraft builders, submarine builders, mech builders. This is really cool. You could basically just sort of run your own whole mech game out of here and use this, you know, to build up your mechs. And then everything about how the vehicles move and how they fight and damage. So really nice to have all this detail. Once again, this is going to give you the most detail in combat, and if you want to use it, you can use it, and if you don't, you can, you know, pick what you don't want to use. Your repairs, space travel, a lot of stuff in here. And as you can see, this book is just overflowing with stuff, and I really don't even have time to show you probably even half of what is in here. And I can see that I'm already going over 20 minutes with this, and I thought I would be done at around 20 minutes. So there's just so much stuff in here. Space combat, goes through every phase of space combat. A lot of detail in here. It's going to walk you through an example. So probably, you know, some of the most detailed space combat that you can get in Hostile or in Cepheus. And all different kinds of sort of like base models of ships, and then you got everything that you need if you want to design your own, all different kinds of drives. Just a lot of tables here, all of this detail here, so you can build your own ships. And that would be something actually I'd really look forward to, because it'd be great to you know, build a ship that's perfectly tailored to what kind of, you know, mission or what kind of adventure or campaign that you want to play. That would be a lot of fun to do that. So you've just got everything that you need for that, just pages and pages of spacecraft design. And you know, once again, I keep repeating myself, you could take it or leave it, what things you want or don't want, but you've got all the detail that you need right there. And then here we go, how to create worlds. It's going to walk you through the process of how to create worlds, all the different naming conventions for how you label them, and how you structure your you know, your systems, how to generate atmospheres, breakdown of what all these different terms are going to mean for the atmospheres, and, you know, how to do starports, how to do population levels, governments, law levels, tech levels, trade codes, just on and on. Everything that you need for building star systems and building worlds. And then this kind of stuff is nice, providing a hook, you know, telling you, you know, how can you, you know, get yourself, you know, invested in this world, and you know, find a way to you know, engage with these huge systems that you've created with all these different generation tools. So once again, just incredible amount of detail. You got all these different tables for creating this, and, you know, asteroid belts. This looks okay. So we have like the Earth system here, and then talking about mega structures, you know, putting out these big space structures, and then onto alien life. And this is going to allow you not just to you know, pick pre-made aliens, but it's going to let you create them and tailor them to, you know, whatever world. You know, let's say you land on a garden world or something, you can cater that world to exactly what kind of creature or alien should be there. And it's going to help give you lots of tables to go ahead and do these things, and then also nice examples, walking you through how to do all that. And then you even have a simplified animal creation as well, a fast animal creation, and then how to create an entire alien race. They're probably going to have their own cultures and tech levels and all kinds of things like that. So very cool. Encounters, I always love to see this. Encounters, are really very important, especially in solo play. You want to have these random things that pop up that, they're going to take the place of what the GM would be doing. So you want to have a lot of encounters. And it looks like we've got a lot of different stuff here. It's probably going to be pretty expanded compared to what is in Hostile Solo. So once again, if you're a solo player like myself, having all of these different encounters is probably going to be really useful to you. Having patrons, this is actually a really cool thing here. And generating locals. And then we get into planetary travel, and you've got a breakdown of all the terrain types. Now, see, some of this information is things that you may have if you have some of the supplements for Hostile. Like maybe you have like Dirt Side, which is one that I have. So I recognize seeing this from Dirt Side. So, yeah, in a way, if you didn't want to have everything kind of scattered in a whole bunch of different books, before maybe going and getting a bunch of the different books, or maybe you already have them, but you just don't want everything scattered, picking up Cepheus Universal again is going to allow you to have all that stuff like in one place. And that's really nice, where it's all kind of unified like that. And typically you're probably going to see more detail on top of what you'd even see in those supplemental books inside of Cepheus Universal. I would say there's probably more detail in here than even in the Dirt Side book. I remember seeing all these tables in there, and you've got them all in here as well. Yeah, you've got all your descriptions for different kinds of weather events and all this, and all this stuff is really cool. I mean, you could use this in so many different games, actually. And this is probably one of the most detailed and expansive weather and event descriptions for like planets and environments that I've ever seen, like in any game. And then time travel, this is really cool. This is definitely something that I would like to do. I would definitely like to play a time travel campaign or scenario missions. It's really cool to have all this detail. I haven't even read through all this, but I'm really looking forward to reading through all of this and understanding the detail about how time travel can be introduced into the world. You got your flux fields, time bracelet. This is all very, very cool. And once again too, one of the things that I love about both Hostile and this latest Cepheus book is the influence of movies and pop culture and things like that. For me, it's a really great kind of like baseline of how to create a fun and action-packed game. And the system that Hostile and this Cepheus Universal provides you really goes well with that kind of thing. So you can really kind of play out some of your fantasies that you've seen in different movies and things like that, and it can be really cool. So then we've got all this different stuff about running the game, and I'm going to imagine that a lot of this is like designed for 2 to 6 players. But once again, if you've been in solo gaming for a while, I'm sure you can figure out how to adapt all these things. And the other thing that you can do, if you get into a situation where you're a little bit unsure about how to proceed, you could probably go to Hostile Solo and you could look in there and see what it advises. And so when you come to some of those situations where it's like, okay, how do I play this solo? Hostile Solo could then be your reference, even if you're trying to primarily use the rules out of here. So I think between the two, you have just all the tools that you need to run a really great solo session. And it's still nice to see all this spelled out because it can still help you to kind of conceptualize how you're going to play. Yeah, even telling you how to create a scenario, how to go through these different acts right here. I mean, this is basically, how to create your own adventure module pretty much. And rumors, rumors once again, rumors are a great way to, get things going. And, creating campaigns. All this stuff I think would be really, really useful to read through as a solo gamer, because it's going to give you an idea of how to really get the most out of your campaigns and out of your settings and out of your sessions. How to do heroic play. Once again, that's where something, TV and movies really inspired by that, and I love that that's in here. Then you've got all these pre-generated NPCs, just pages and pages of them. Then talking about how to adapt the setting, how you could put these rules into a setting, steps on how to do that, or how to create your own setting completely from scratch. You can go through this checklist and you could create your own entire setting. And actually on the topic of that, I do have one resource that was created for Cepheus Universal, which right here is Street Night, and this kind of gives you an example of how flexible this system is, because Cepheus Universal, it's kind of this like very advanced sci-fi, very like hard sci-fi kind of thing. But we have here's Street Night, which is just based on like 80s and 90s TV shows, and just sort of action and kind of like pop culture and stuff like that. And this would actually be really, really different, obviously, from your standard sci-fi setting, and a lot of fun to be able to play something like this. And if you guys are interested to see some play of this on the channel, let me know. But it's really cool that you can have such a variety of things to put into Cepheus Universal. How to create factions, how to make your maps, and if you were going to play this as a group, it's going to give you some advice on how to do that as well. And well, yeah, we got what do we got here? Oh, turn by turn characters. Okay, so this is another method of character creation. I haven't even actually seen this before. Oh yeah, okay. So this is where you have the characters play like a career, and you can generate their skills and their events from that, and that's actually a lot of fun. That's very cool. Something I would definitely like to try too. And okay, here you've got some nice resources, different all these different sheets and things. You got your character sheets, factions, ships, spacecraft, robots. So just loads and loads of sheets, and all of these are also available as individual PDF files. So you just got loads and loads of stuff here to organize and create everything that you would want for creating your world or your system and organizing your campaign. And you've got a nice index here at the back as well. So that was obviously a very fast look at Cepheus Universal, and I see that I'm just about to hit 35 minutes here, and as you can tell, I've barely even looked at maybe half of the things in the book here, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of things that you might still be wondering about what's in the book. So that really just gives you an idea of how massive this is. And once again, I think that if you're like me, if you're playing solo and you don't already have any of the Cepheus books, or maybe you don't have too many supplement books for Hostile, I think it's just a no-brainer to pick this up, and it's going to just massively expand your world, and you're going to have everything all right here in one just beautiful hardback book that is just really, it lays flat and it's really nice and easy to use. And I just think that you can't beat it, and it could really just sort of revolutionize your Hostile solo gameplay sessions. So yeah, I would highly recommend it, and I hope that this kind of quick look has been useful for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.